All right, welcome everybody to round one. Looks like our players are just getting started with their first turns. Applechips started things off with a Crack the Earth. Applechips is up at the top of your screen there on 4-faction Toda. YurickYu down here on Feln at any cost at the bottom. And we're going to see Applechips start out with a bargained Arc of Soul.
Boy, so that's the opening that any Arc of Soul deck just dreams about. Turn one, Crack the Earth into Arc of Soul, and then suddenly the world is your oyster. Especially because Applechips already set up every single one of their 4 factions, and they're off to the races. In my opinion, this is the quintessential bad matchup for a Felon at any cost because they're ultimately trying to play the react and card advantage game. And Felon at any cost doesn't really have a great way of dealing with relics. So I don't see how YurickYu really gets to win this when there's basically nothing that Applechips is playing that plays into all the spot removal. So
Makes sense. All right, thank you so much, Cassandrith, for the raid. Welcome, everybody, from Cassandrith the stream. We really appreciate your support. Cassandrith, great streamer, great member of the community. We really appreciate the support. Welcome, everyone, and settle in. We've got a couple hours. We've got 5 rounds of Swiss plus a top 8 tonight, so we've got plenty of eternal action for you. And Toltail, thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate you hanging out at Tuesday Night Eternal tonight. Yeah, I agree with you, Ilya. I think that YurickYu's got a lot of removal, but Applechips is not worried about, one-for-one removal. That's not at all what Applechips' game plan is. And like you said, Feln has a really, really tough time with relics. So if Applechips goes deep on the relics plan, which is what their deck is set up to do, YurickYu is just not going to be able to sit back on, creature removal and be able to deal with what Applechips is putting together.
Right. And remember, Felon at any cost, there's only so much damage that deck can do outside of Prodigious Sorcery for 2 fully charged at any costs, at which point the damage becomes, ridiculous. But before then, if Applechips can get these Shrine to Carvets going, then they can quickly, Applechips can quickly get out of range of a single double damage of, that 24-26 range that a single double damage at any cost can do. So now, we're seeing, wow. So basically, I think we're seeing the entire machine already in play for Applechips. So there's the sacrifice, which is going to discard a card, which is going to play even more Todas. And I think Applechips is going to... I'm not sure if he has the Toda circle out yet.
Yeah, let's check that. The relics are... Oh, just stacked one of them.
Nope. No Toda circle. So it's going to be a bit of...
We've got Azrai Prixis, Pitfall Trap, 2 copies of Cheering Section, and Prism Stone. But thanks to that Cheering Section, was able to sack some Todas, get that Shrine to Carvet down, and hit for a bunch of damage.
So, what
YurickYu's going to go with the Bolt Burglarize. I'm sorry, that's a hard one to say on coverage. Burglarize here. Going to take that Shrine to Carvet. That's one of the few ways for Feln to actually deal with relics, is to just go ahead and steal them from the face.
Sure. That does buy YurickYu a bit of time. So without the Shrine to Carvet, Applechips is just playing a bunch of 0-1s. So at least the pressure is off. And with that Davia incoming, she can also, stall the game, hold the fort a bit. But again, this is a question for YurickYu of, how do you not just play to lose, but how do you win this game?
Yep.
And
absolutely,
as it stands right now, YurickYu is still a bit under the gun here.
That Hailstorm's going to take care of those units, and that's something as well. That's at least going to slow Applechips down. Now, notably for Applechips, this is not the Shrine to Carvet in the market build. This is 4 copies of Shrine in the deck. So stealing 1, that'll do something for YurickYu, but it's not like Applechips can't just draw more if they find them.
Right, right. Applechips did discard one, I think.
Yeah, I believe
So,
so.
there are two left, but uh, this isn't just if Applechips finds Shrine to Carve It. There's also if Applechips finds a Display of Knowledge.
There's actually two in the void. So there's two Shrine to Carvets in the void and one in YurickYu's hands. So there's only one left in Applechips' deck.
Oh wow! So your Q actually has a legit chance of you know just stalling this game out, especially if there are. Uh, no, I don't think the number of Todas on the board matters
No.
because one of those relics, I forget which, can sacrifice any number of them to make room for more rat. But apple chips, they're on fumes. Uh, so, uh, okay, this pitfall trap will draw a power, which will activate the pitfall trap. So, apple chips is digging, but once again, he's looking for a very specific card, and he doesn't have the whole game to find it.
Right. Not able to really push through that damage yet. And I lose track when there's 8 relics out here, but I don't think any of them win the game, right? It's really that Shrine to Carve It is the win condition there. And Davia's going to go and replay the Burglarize, so can steal another one of the relics. We'll have to see which one YurickYu takes here. YurickYu's going to take the Pitfall Trap this time.
Very good move on YurickYu's part, in my opinion, because you take the pitfall trap and you cut off Applechips' card flow. So
That
so
does make
so
it a lot
basically,
harder for Applechips to go. Now, Applechips can sort of chump block forever here with these
sure.
Todas. But YurickYu doesn't mind that because YurickYu can go on the at any cost plan at some point here. YurickYu really just wants to not die and transition into the late game. And I don't know. I think YurickYu has set themselves up in pretty good position to do that so far in this game.
I mean, ultimately, it's sort of a stalemate because Applechips has effectively an infinite number of Todas, and there is the Toda circle. So now, whenever Applechips plays Todas and like sacrifices Todas, discards cards, plays more Todas, Applechips is going to draw more cards.
Well, that's pretty good. Having some card advantage engine is going to be really nice for Applechips. I don't know the deck super well, but other than the 4th Shrine to Carve It, is there anything else? Is there any other way that Applechips can pump these and get through in the deck?
Uh, no, he can't pump the Todas. What he can try to do is find some more rat cages and try to spam a bunch of rats. But I think we're kind of past that point.
Yeah. That seems pretty slow. There's also, yeah, I mean, Stone Scar Excavator's way too slow. I guess you could get a Kato to get some big giants, but I don't think YurickYu really cares about that.
No, and another forbidden.
All right, there's Bizarre Stampede. So in the market, Applechips says Bizarre Stampede. Your units get +1/+1 for each relic you have. That could pump a bunch of Todas a bunch of times.
That is huge. If that resolves, it's basically game over on the spot because these Todas are going to be like 7/8 or something like that. However, Applechips is actually in lethal range right now because the at any costs are active.
Yep. Yeah, those 12 Shadow Influence.
And we have three in the hand.
Yeah, so if you don't know what at any cost does, I can't blame you, but it is a sweet one. It is a 3-cost Decay Lifesteal, deal 3 damage, but if you have 12 Shadow Influence, and don't get it wrong, that is very difficult to do, to get 12 Influence, then it deals 12 damage Decay Lifesteal instead, and very importantly, that can hit face. But here's what I said, Applechips going to go to the market and get that Bizarre Stampede, +5/+5 to the board. Every Toda is now a 5/6, and that's just going to be too much for YurickYu.
Wow.
Who needs the shrine?
One turn away. Yeah, but Bizarre Stampede is absolutely nuts. Do we have... Oh my gosh. So, YurickYu, I think, might have misplayed that last turn. He had the they had the transpose in the hand,
okay.
and tapped down, and so left rejection down, went shields down, and got blown up by the Bizarre Stampede.
Yeah.
that may have been an unforced error, I think, in hindsight, because I understand you're trying to end the game before your opponent finds their their shrine to carve it, but going down, but going completely shields down, I'm not sure was the play there.
All right, so you got a quick glimpse of YurickYu's Felon at any cost deck there. Not super complicated. It's sort of a control approach. Don't die to aggro, kill everything that they try to play, and then win off of giant at any cost at the end of the game. And then you got some other synergies along the way, some discard synergies, you got some Rindras in there. But really, it's just, at the end of the day, it's really just control the board, transition to the late game, and then win off of at any cost and buying it back with double damage, etc.
Right, right. Yeah, it's basically, for those that played Magic the Gathering in the days of Urza's Rage, uh
You're really dating
it,
yourself now, Ilya.
yeah, I was little back then, I was very
Most
little.
people who watch the stream it probably have like maybe played Innistrad. So Urza's Rage, you're going back a little ways, buddy.
Fair enough, fair enough. Uh, I'm not that old, but still a millennial and a younger one. But basically, uh, yeah, it's the idea of control, 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 and then oops, you're dead to burn. So
Yeah, I remember my feeling old moment was when I was talking to a player and they were talking about Ravnica, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sure they're not talking about OG Ravnica. They're talking about they say the old Ravnica," and I'm like, "Oh, that one, okay." And then I'm thinking like, "Oh, you're talking about Return to Ravnica," and they're like, "Wait, what's that?" I'm talking about the the one from like 3 years ago. I'm like, "Oh no, that's the old one." Uh-oh, now I'm really old. All right, Applechips, let's get back to the game here. Applechips doing the same thing they did last games. Got some Totas out, got some Relics out, Shrine to Carvet in hand. Going to keep making units and going to try to get some big attacks here. YurickYu has the Hailstorm in hand, but that's, again, as you saw last game, that's not really the problem. Applechips can spit out more units. The trouble is trying to stop the units from killing you with a Shrine to Carvet or something out of
oh
the market, which is
wow,
what we saw last time. And Applechips going to hit for a lot here. That's going to put YurickYu down to 16 already.
right? Applechips already just got the nut draw. Like YurickYu doesn't even have a second primal for Hailstorm. And Applechips already has the Toda Circle, the cheering section, the shrine to carve it, and I think the Azurite Princess as well. I think they have Applechips has the whole shebang already online.
Yep, gonna make some more. Here's a Calibrate. Draw a relic or a power from the top 5 cards. Pretty efficient for only 1 power. Especially when so much of your deck is power and relics. All right, some updates from the back tables. We've got some winners already. We've got Noverb taking it 2-0 over Cirrus. We've got Roomdo, and that's a new name, I think, taking it 2-0 over Duocat. RNG 2-1 over a 2-61. I Am Straight, our spring season champion, taking it 2-0 over No Mortal Coil. Spifferific 2-0 over Mail. Ash Acer 2-0 over the new champion, the Overmaster.
Unfortunate that Theo dropped his first match. But yeah, a lot of these aggro dittos, they're fast, they're brutal, and they're fairly high variance, I think. So sometimes the cards just don't go your way.
Well, congratulations is in order for the Overmaster. He's been working hard for the longest time. One of the early faces in Eternal, and then has been playing really well in TNEs, but didn't really get there. Didn't really win a championship. Didn't really do well in the Invitationals, and then finally started really picking it up in the summer season. Won a TNE, qualified for the Invitational, and then turns around and wins the Open. So congratulations, due for Theo. That was pretty impressive. And now here's another Bizarre Stampede.
Yep.
YurickYu does have power open this time for that transpose, but I don't think they have any way to counter this.
Not enough power to play the rejection,
power,
and not enough influence either. I think just a single at any cost has to come out here on the cultist,
Yeah.
and then just hope you survive.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot. I don't think that's going to be enough. That's still going to be lethal. So Applechips going to take that one 2-0. Well navigated for Applechips using Shrine and using Stampede to take that one 2-0 over YurickYu.